Do not obey. Zombie talk. I've seen some things you cannot explain. What's up, guys? It's me, Do Not Obey, and let's get into another video. Now we're getting back into dreams, or the realm of whatever we call a dream. Maybe it's not really a dream though. Maybe what we're going through, or what these people that you're about to watch really experience, was definitely not a dream. Hope you guys do enjoy this video, and like I always say, do not obey. Stay woke. Peace.
About the weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all?
So from the time that I was like maybe 3 to 5 or so, I would have a shit ton of recurring dreams. So I have many of these stories, but I'm going to focus on the recurring dream that occurred the most for me, okay? I would always be in like this courtroom of sorts. It wasn't exactly like a courtroom that in the sense that we're familiar with, but it was a room where judgments took place. And that was my understanding of it as a 3-year-old. And the entire room was like blank white. Like, if you ever seen Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2, King's Cross Station white, like everything, even the light coming in. And I was like on like the like plaintiff or like defendant side of the courtroom, like the people that were behind the judges panel, which was like horseshoe shaped, like U-shaped. They were all like toys and things that would be like appealing to a child. You see, like a teddy bear, for example. I remember there was action figures, etc., etc. And the head judge, whatever lady, was this beautiful, like fairy princess vibes type woman. Always had like these elegant ball gowns and stuff on. And when I would be there, they would like start schmoozing me and like being really nice to me, like love bombing me pretty much. In hindsight, that's what it was. For like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, whatever, just like getting me like to warm up to them, I suppose. And after like a while of this, and this was every single dream, after like the 5 to 10 minutes of schmoozing me up, whatever, in each dream, they would ask me to like commit like some sort of like heinous crime, or like just like do like some morally depraved act. Like, I don't remember everything that they asked me, but I do remember having been asked to like kill someone on a couple different occasions. And 3-year-old me like already was not about that shit. I was like, nope, not for me. I'm not the one. You gotta find someone else for that job. And whenever I would deny them whatever it was they were asking me, the head lady would always be like, okay, we're not gonna let you wake up. She would say that. I'd be like, whoa, fuck, like I'm in a dream again. I would be hyper aware of my body, like you are like when you have sleep paralysis. Like, I could feel my body physically in my bed and be unable to move it. And I would like be seeing visually at the same time just all of these judges staring at me, smiling, frozen. And I remember hearing my mother get up out of her bed, out of her room, go downstairs and make an entire breakfast while I was frozen in my bed, while I like could not wake myself up physically. And the only thing that brought me to like a waking state was the smell of bacon. And I swear on my soul with that shit, like literally the smell of my mother's breakfast was what woke me up and broke me out of that.
Okay, I ran to film this and I have Kovu, my storytelling buddy, with me. I have this crazy dream experience where from the ages of about 8 to 11, I was having this reoccurring dream that ended up really changing my beliefs and the trajectory of my life. So from about 8 to 10, 11 years old, I'm having this reoccurring dream, and it will go through a specific part of the dream, and of course I'll wake up, and then a few months later it'll pick up where it left off. In this dream, I'm in what I now believe is Europe during the witch trials, and I'm seeing everything from my perspective as if I am there and I am living it. And it starts with me looking down at my hands, and I am preparing some form of herbal medicine. And there is a woman sitting next to me, and she has come to me because she needs something to help her calm down. I remember reaching and grabbing chamomile, and I'm in the shed that's in my backyard. And I look to my right, and I just see eyes peeking through the window, looking at me, and then they take off running when they see that I have seen them. So immediately, my heart sinks. I know what probably just occurred. I tell the woman I think I was just caught. I tell her I think that she will be fine. Oh, storyteller buddy has left, but he was with us for the beginning. And I finish her remedy, I give her a hug. She tells me she hopes everything's going to be okay. I tell her don't worry about it. She pays me. She gives me a few coins. And then I send her away and immediately go and grab my go bag that I have already packed in case something like this were to occur. I get my go bag and I immediately take off running into the woods that are behind my house. And I would run for what felt like forever. There would be nights where the entire dream would just be me running through these woods until I finally get to an abandoned building that's in the middle of the woods. And I go into this abandoned building and I look to my left and I see my cousin. And it is my cousin that I have in real life now, but in real life, my cousin is several years older than me. And in this dream, she's several years younger than me and is only like a 8 to 10-year-old child that was my age when I was having this dream. And she has fallen and she's hurting her head and is clearly bleeding. And I go to her and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? What happened? Are you okay? And she tells me she fell when she was running in the woods and she came straight there because she knew I would be there. And then she starts crying and she goes, it was me. I'm so sorry. I turned you in. It was me. I'm the reason that they know. And so I take a deep breath and I tell her, it's okay, calm down. I know that they probably were questioning you and you were scared and I'm not mad at you and I forgive you and, everything's going to be okay. And I rip a piece of my dress off. I cover her wound and I give her a hug and I say, you need to go home if you're feeling okay. You need to go back to your mom because if anyone comes looking for me, I don't want you here getting yourself into trouble. So I give her a hug, tell her everything's going to be okay again. And I send her off and then I unpack, I try to settle my nerves because my plan is to continue running when the sun rises the next day. And I settle in for the night, the sun begins to set, I fall asleep. I wake up in the middle of the night to the sound of people outside talking, and I know I've been caught. And I remember this frantic feeling and running around, searching in this abandoned building, trying to find a back exit or a back window, and I can't find a way out. And I accept I'm gonna have to not be taken by force or anything. So I go out the front door, I turn myself in, I say that they can take me. Long story short, I'm found guilty, there's witnesses, I'm deemed a witch and sentenced to death. Trigger warning, I do see the way that I pass in this dream. I remember walking out and stepping up on a stool and I have a bag put over my head and a rope around my neck, and the dream would always end with me feeling them removing the stool and everything tightening, and I would wake up gasping for air. And of course, I'm really young. I tell my mom about these dreams. Anytime they're happening again, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had the dream again. And my mom validates me and she totally believes me and thinks it's really bizarre. Fast forward, I'm in like 8th grade and I go to the local crystal store with my aunt and my cousin. This is a different cousin than the one that's in the dreams, and my mom. We love this crystal store. We go there all the time. And this is the first time we walk in. There's a sign that says past life readings. My cousin immediately gets excited and is like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. I have this ghost that I see all the time. I really want to learn more about it. Let's go and talk to him. So we sit down to talk to him. We have this wonderful conversation about her experiences, and he gives her all these incredible details and facts. And then he looks at me and he goes, I'm getting a vibe from you. What's going on with you? I'm sensing something. Immediately the dream pops into my head and I say, well, I have been having this really bizarre reoccurring dream. I start telling him about the dream. We get to the point where I'm on the run. He stops me and is able to tell me everything that happens in my dream in great detail, down to the color of my cousin's hair, which by the way is red. My hair's not red. I have no idea where he would have pulled that out from. He knows that she's hurt herself. He knows all these minute details. We go back and forth. I keep giving him details. He feeds me back more details. And it is this insane experience. I'm completely baffled. And he says, yeah, I believe that these are memories of your past life. You are remembering what happened to you and how you passed away in your past life. And ever since then, it has really, I don't want to say changed the trajectory of my life, but definitely really hit my core and stuck with me and changed some of my beliefs, and has been a really incredible experience. And I've never had the dream again since we got to the bottom of that, but I obviously still think about it a lot. And that's my dream that I guess was memories, not a dream.
That you don't actually think was a dream at all. I'll go first.
So I always have weird dreams. I always have weird dreams. But I remember this one dream in particular where I was 15. I remember I was wearing a camise. I was in a dimly lit room, and it was cold in there. And I remember looking in the mirror, and I was looking at myself. My hair was French braided or Dutch braided. It was long. It was blonde. I was really, really pretty. And I remember I heard a knock on the door. And I turned around to look at the door. It was a big wooden door, and this lady came in, and she was one of the ladies who usually get like people dressed during like the 1800s, 1700s. I don't know what they're called. but like royalty dress. And she came in and she told me, my lady, I don't know what your mother said to him, but he left. And I remember feeling a sense of dread, a sense of panic. I remember putting on my boots, and I remember running out of my room, downstairs, into a corridor, down some more stairs, and out the door. And I remember getting on a horse, riding into town where it was a bunch of commoners, and they were shopping like for food. It was like where you buy food, so they were shopping for bread and they were shopping for food. And I remember I was surrounded by so many people. There were so many people, and I was there standing in the middle of all these people, and I was looking around, and I kept searching, and I was running through the people, looking at all the faces, and I didn't see him. And I remember feeling like I was never going to see this person ever again, and like my heart was shattered into a million pieces. And while I was standing there, there was a sense that I was in love with somebody that I wasn't supposed to be in love with, because I was royalty and they weren't. They were working in the castle, and I knew this sense that like we weren't supposed to be together, but I understood why at that time, but it just didn't make sense to me, because love is love, whether we come from royalty or not.
That you don't actually think was a dream at all.
So I went to bed, I was asleep or whatever, and I woke up. And I was just in this really dark place where nothing literally was around, like nothing. It was just nothingness. No sound, no light or anything. It was just dark. I'ma just say maybe space, but it was just black. So these people start talking to me as a male, and it's like his wife sitting next to him, and it's like another male there who's younger, and then an older woman. So I'm gonna say this is like a family dynamic type situation. It was like a husband and a wife and their adolescent or young adult son and a grandmother type thing, if that makes sense. The best way to describe them, they looked like Hindu gods. And the grandmother-like figure looked exactly like an Aboriginal Australian person. Now, that's why it's weird, because I don't usually remember details like this in dreams. Like, I might remember little parts here and there, it'll come to me, but like, I remember everything, pretty much. Like the older woman was very dark-skinned. She had like graying hairs, very straight. It was back in a ponytail, and and the man and the woman looked something like this. Now, this is the closest I could find on Google that looked as close as to what I'm trying to describe, but their legs were crossed, and the male, he was like a little bit older, and his skin was like around the same color her skin was. It wasn't like this bluish color. And he specifically had on a purple turban on his head, and then there was like a crescent moon, and there was a star next to it. It was just huge on it. That's why I remember. So here we go. They start talking to me, and basically they was like, oh, it's so good to see you again. Like they already knew me or something like that. So they came to give me a warning. They were basically trying to tell me something really catastrophic was about to happen here on Earth, where I am. And they were talking to me like I was outside of myself or something. Because they kept referring to me as like when I'm in my human state. Wait, hold on, I'm going too far. So basically they were like, something really bad is about to happen and we need you to be prepared. So basically they was like, you need to stop eating meat. And I'm saying to myself, damn, I ain't gonna be able to do that. And so it's like the wife knew. She was like, yeah, we can't be that stringent, because we know when you're in your human form, like that was specific. They were like, when you're in your human form, I forgot, y'all can't really, control yourself basically. So just try not to eat as much around this time, basically is what they were saying. So the male, he was listening to his wife. He was like, okay, well, yeah, I understand. Yeah, because the humans, when they're in the human form, they really don't have no self-control. So just maybe if you could just try not to eat as much meat then you'll be straight. And they was basically trying to tell me, you know, like I needed to keep my health together and, you know, stay fit and healthy so that I can have the strength to be strong to get through whatever was coming. Now, keep in mind, this is 2019. This was like around September or October of 2019, before COVID. And that's basically the end of the story. I mean, but we had a much further exchange going back and forth. By the way, we were not speaking to each other. This was telepathic.
About 7 years ago, I had a friend pass away. 6 months after he passed away, he visited me in a dream. Though it wasn't like any dream I've ever had before, and I am convinced I'm not a religious person or anything, but I was certainly visited by a spirit guide. I am wholly convinced that that was what visited me. Told several of my friends this story through Facebook messages. This is in 2017. And I'll share those right here, what those Facebook messages said. But basically, I was standing next to my bed. This was like the dream. I was standing next to my bed, and there was a woman in all white. She had brown hair. She was like maybe 5'6" or something. She looks at me, and it was so weird because it was as if we were talking, like having a conversation, but no words were being exchanged. She puts her hand on my shoulder. She stands behind me, puts her hand on my shoulder, and all of a sudden in my room is my friend that passed away. And he's wearing what he was wearing at his wake, which is so freaky. And he says, "Hey bud, how's it going?" Something like that. And then I ran into his arms, like crying, and I kept saying, "I'm so sorry," just for the way that he passed away. I was like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "It's okay, bud." And I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I don't know. You're the first person they've let me see." Oh my god, I just got chills. And I think I said something like, "Who?" And then the lady put her hand on my shoulder again, and I just like jolted awake. Weirdest dream you've had that you don't actually think was a dream at all? I'll go first.
Like this, I know for sure was not a dream. And this happened about 10 years ago. And honestly, I just started telling people this story because when I talked about it 10 years ago, people thought I was crazy. The reason why I'm comfortable telling it now is because there's a lot more people open to this sort of thing now. Bed asleep, and I had to work in the morning, so I was knocked out. Next thing I remember is waking up, but my body's not up, and I hear this loud ringing in both my ears, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what this is. So I close my eyes tight because I'm like, this is sleep paralysis, and if I open my eyes, I'm going to see a sleep paralysis demon, and I did not want to see a sleep paralysis demon because I had never seen one. So I keep my eyes super duper tight. And so the next thing I remember is open my eyes, I get up, and I am up. I'm like, all right, cool. No. I turn around, and I'm asleep in the motherfucking bed. First and foremost. Yes. I'm asleep in the bed. So I'm like, well, what is happening? Now my phone is on the floor next to my bed, charging. I grab my phone, and I'm like panicking, like, whoa, 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 whoa. I gotta call my grandma, because how do I get back in my body? And so I remember grabbing my phone, I remember running down my stairs. Now how I know this was not a dream, because dreams are super weird. Like when you're in your bedroom, you might start out in your bedroom, you leave your room, you end up in like a cafeteria or a swimming pool or something like that. When I tell you that everything in my room, it was literally like I opened my eyes and that is my house. Nothing off. That was my house to a T. There was nothing dreamlike about this. I'm running down the stairs, opening up my front door and sitting on the little stoop in front of my front door and thinking to myself, how am I going to figure out how I'm going to get back in my body? I'm really outside sitting there thinking how I'm going to get back inside of my body when I walk back up these stairs. So I finally go back inside. I walk up the stairs, I go back in my room. Now I had a Scentsy wax melter that I had got from somebody I worked with. I ordered through Scentsy, and it illuminated my room, like not super bright, but it was bright enough to where it was a nice ambiance in the room. And an agent of mine had got me a Bible, and on my dresser next to the Scentsy melter was this Bible. And because of how illuminated the room was from the Scentsy melt, I see the Bible. And when I look at this Bible, I have an idea pop in my head. The idea that pops in my head tells me to lay down inside my body. So guess what? I lay down inside my body. And once I lay down inside my body, I wake the fuck up in real life. And I am shook to my core. I am so scared. I'm 100% sure that this was not a dream. And it was not a dream. Nobody can ever convince me that that was a dream. That was real life. To the point that I roll over, grab my phone, and go through my call logs to see if I did, in fact, call my grandmother. Now that I'm older and I've heard of astral projection, I realize that's what that was. 10 years ago, I did not know too much about it, and a lot of people were not open to the idea of that.
I've had several dreams like that, but there is one particular dream that actually will, like, mark me forever. I've had several of them, but this one is, like, the top one. So a couple of years back, probably maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I had a dream where I actually went inside a home, and in my dream these two people were in the home. I just didn't know who they were. I couldn't see their face, like their face was blurred out. I could see their body, but I couldn't see their face for some reason. And the people actually invited me over to their home, and me, in the dream, I went inside their home. I just don't know why. So I started to walk around with them. They were talking to me. I just don't remember what they were saying. And like I said, I couldn't see their face, so I didn't know who exactly that was. They started showing me around their home, and I got distracted by a room next door to, I think it was the kitchen or something. So I walked away, and literally when I walked inside that room in the dream, I could sense like a very, very, very bad presence in the dream. And I kind of got scared in my dream because, it's not something that you expect to feel or to recognize, in a dream. So, I'm there, and automatically this demonic voice in the dream started laughing out of nowhere. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know where it was coming from. It was just like from like thin air. It was that. So, I got really scared in the dream. And then I actually started praying in my dream. It's crazy how I started to think in my head, hey, you have to pray. You have to pray. Do it. And I guess the entity in that dream didn't like it. And it screamed at me. Like, it said, no. Like, it just yelled. And then it made this horrible, like wailing sound. Like it was so bad. Like in my dream, I was so scared, and like I literally stepped back because of how close it felt like when they yelled no. So I got up, and like, this is the craziest part though. In that room where I went, there was like this glass door. I don't know if you ever seen like homes that have that slide door that people put curtains over it, or even like they have like the long blinds where you can actually just take in and just move them back and forth. So there was one there, and it had curtains on it. And for some reason, I don't know who it was, the curtain wrapped around my neck. Like if someone wrapped it around my neck and was like just pulling it as hard as they could, and I was literally choking because I kept doing this, like like trying to take it off, whatever it was. But it was like really choking me so hard that in my own dream, I passed out. I literally passed out. Like I saw my life flash before my eyes in my own dream. So because of that, when I passed out, I actually woke up in real life.
Still get chills every time I think about the story, but here it goes. So one day I went to my grandpa's house and he didn't have a room for me, but he had a couch that I would sleep on. And this was like once or twice a week type of thing that I would do this. And one night, it was a Wednesday night, I went to sleep on his couch and I woke up in the middle of the night and had to use the bathroom. But when I went to move and get up, I couldn't. I was stuck, like totally stuck. Sleep paralysis, like my arms would not move, my mouth wouldn't move, my eyes couldn't move, like nothing was moving. I was stuck and I was like trying to move. I started freaking out. My heart started beating out of my chest and I was like, get up in my head. I'm like, come on, get up, move, what's wrong with you? And I'm there like freaking out, having an anxiety attack because I cannot move a muscle. I've never had this happen to me. And I start yelling in my head like super, super loud. And I'm like, get up. And finally, I roll over and I land on the ground and like on my hands and knees. And I'm like, yo, that was so weird. Like, what's going on? Why couldn't I move? Like, freaking out. But whatever. So I like stand up. I grab my phone, turn the flashlight on, and I go to the bathroom. And the way that my grandpa's house is set up, it's like living room's here, and there's a wall, and then you have to walk around the wall to get to the bathroom. So I do that, and I get to the bathroom, and I go to put my phone down on the sink, and like I missed the sink like 3 times. I'm like, what's going on? So I put the tip of the phone on the edge of the sink, and like pushed it on there. And I'm like, all right, that's also weird. Whatever. I go to pee. I pee. I wash my hands. I grab my phone, and now I walk back to the couch where I was sleeping. And when I turn the corner, my flashlight's on. I put the flashlight up, and I see myself on the couch, still asleep. But I'm holding my phone, looking at myself. And now I'm like every single hair on my body stands up, and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, yo, what the and I pinch myself as hard as I can to like see if I'm awake. And it hurt, and I still see my body there, just laying there. And I didn't know what was going on. And so, but like something inside of me told me to like walk towards my body. So like I walked towards my body, and now I'm standing right over myself, like with the flashlight on, like putting the flashlight to my head, to my feet, and like I see myself. And now my heart is just again, and like I don't know what's going on. And then like something told me to just like reach out and like touch my body. And so like I reached out, and like a super slow motion, and as soon as I touch my chest, I wake up like and it's like I came back into my body. I didn't sleep for 3 days after that.